You ever get that feeling that there's something more going on in your day-to-day life? Some kind of secret world hiding just beneath the surface of your normal routine? Well, guess what? You're not wrong. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and look at the weird and fascinating truths hidden in the most ordinary parts of your day.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Is your daily routine really as normal as you think it is? I mean, from the second your alarm clock screams at you in the morning to the very last text you send at night, your day is absolutely jam-packed with bizarre stuff you probably never even notice.
So yeah, let's do it. Let's peel back that curtain. We're gonna dive into some surprising truths that are hiding in plain sight. And we're gonna start with the very first thing you do every single day, waking up. You think it's simple, but oh, it gets weird. Okay, let's kick things off with something every single one of us does, but very few of us actually understand: sleep. You might think you're just, switching off for a few hours to recharge, but what's really happening in your brain is so much stranger.
You know that feeling? You're just drifting off to sleep, and then bam! You get that sudden jolt, that feeling like you're falling and your whole body jerks awake? That's called a hypnic jerk. And get this, it's actually classified as a mild epileptic seizure. It's basically your brain misfiring as it tries to transition from being awake to being asleep. Kinda creepy, right?
While we're on the topic of sleep, here's a quick little life hack for you. If you have a tough time dozing off at night, the side you sleep on might actually make a difference. Apparently, sleeping on your right side can help you fall asleep faster than sleeping on your left. Hey, it's worth a shot tonight, right?
All right, you're up. You're heading for the shower. Question is, are you a shower singer? Do you belt out the classics in there? If you do, well, congratulations. It seems that people who sing in the shower tend to be funnier than people who don't. There's a fun little fact to start your day. So you're about to head out the door and then, achoo! You let out a massive sneeze. Now, you've probably heard the old myth that your heart literally stops for a second. That's not exactly true, but what does happen is pretty wild. All that pressure in your chest from the sneeze can actually change your heart's rhythm for a moment, maybe causing it to skip a beat. It's this tiny, powerful event that just reminds you how complex your body is.
Okay, let's step outside into the world now and talk about the people you meet. There are these invisible forces going on all the time in our social lives. And when you meet someone new, what is it that really pulls you in? The answer is probably not what you think it is.
We're so conditioned to think that attraction is all about looks, what we see with our eyes. But what if I told you your nose is secretly running the show? Turns out we are often way more drawn to a person's unique scent than to how they look. Your sense of smell is like this silent matchmaker, guiding your connections in ways you don't even realize.
3 days. What on earth could that be about? Well, get this. When you kiss someone, traces of their DNA can actually stay in your mouth for up to 3 whole days. Yeah, a little bit of strange but fascinating biological proof of that connection. Sticking with our social world, let's move on from the romantic stuff to something a little more deceptive. We're talking about lies. The big ones, the small ones, they're just a fundamental part of how we all communicate. Just think about it for a second. How many times have you said it or heard it from someone else? How are you? I'm fine. It's so automatic. But that simple phrase, I am fine, is actually considered the most common lie told in the entire world. It's a tiny little phrase that just papers over a whole universe of what we're actually feeling.
So, where does this all come from, this habit of hiding how we really feel? Well, this next point gives us a pretty interesting clue. It turns out that some of the absolute best liars out there are kids who grew up with really strict parents. It suggests that for some of us, lying is actually learned as a survival skill early on.
Okay, let's shift gears completely. Enough with the deep psychological stuff for a minute. Let's look at a couple of quirky, kind of mind-bending facts about the super simple things we see and use every single day. All right, take a look at the chair you're sitting in, or just picture one in your head. You've seen a million of them in your life, but have you ever really, truly thought about the arms of a chair?
They're just chairs for our arms. I know, it's so simple, it's so obvious once you hear it, but it just completely changes how you look at a chair forever. A perfect little brain flip for you.
And here's another one for you, from the kitchen. Honey. You know that jar of honey that's been sitting in the back of your pantry forever? It's basically immortal. No joke. Archaeologists have found pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that are thousands of years old and still perfectly good to eat. It just never goes bad.
So, we've seen how everyday things like chairs and honey have these wild hidden secrets. But what about the bigger systems, the things that really structure our lives? For our last point, let's chew on a more provocative idea about how one of the most normal parts of modern life might be shaping us in ways we really don't expect.
Now, this is a pretty bold claim coming from our source material. The idea that the constant pressure of standardized testing in schools is actually doing harm, that it's making kids less creative and might even be making them, well, dumber. It's definitely a challenging thought that makes you question a huge part of modern education.
And that really brings us to our final question. For you, we've looked at the hidden weirdness in our sleep, our relationships, our furniture, even our schools. So what other normal parts of your life do you think are quietly shaping who you're becoming? Once you start looking for it, you'll realize the strangeness is absolutely everywhere. Thanks for tuning in.